We now present The Adventures of Marco Polo. Kubla Khan gave Marco Polo his choice between fighting a duel and being summarily executed. Marco Polo chose to fight the duel, and he took lessons in two-handed sword fighting from his friend Toktai. Meanwhile, the Khan had given his consent to marriage between King Pentang and King Sai, who pleaded for Marco Polo. The day after the Khan's arrival in Zaitun, all arrangements were made for the duel. Thousands of people gathered on the lawns before King Pentang's palace. Then Marco Polo brought Benedetta Corsini forward and presented her to the Khan. The two duelists raised their swords in salute of Kubla Khan. There was a clash of steel. Then Chris Ra lunged at Marco Polo with his mighty two-edged sword. Marco Polo leapt nimbly aside and raised his sword to defend himself. Niccolo and Matteo Polo anxiously watched the duel.
Hey, I thought Marco was going to be killed then, Matteo.
Marco was very nimble on his feet.
Look, their swords have met again. Krishna jumped to one side. Careful, Marco!
Again, Marco eluded that thrust.
Marco seems to be able to defend himself, but I'm afraid that he will soon tire.
His opponent steps towards him now. Oh, I do not know how they managed to wield those heavy swords.
Marco is very strong.
Careful, Marco!
Marco, are you hurt?
The edge of his sword got caught in my arm.
You are bleeding. Let the duel cease. Cease now, Marco.
No, this is but a scratch. I am not defeated. Now I shall attack. Marco could have withdrawn from the duel then.
My son is no coward. See, he attacks now.
Krishna defends himself ably. He's stepping back.
But Marco follows him. Press your advantage, Marco.
Now Marco will step back. Why did he not follow the man?
Mayhap there was some trick to be tried by Krishna. Marco's been well schooled by Toktai.
See? Krishna attacks again. Oh, Marco will be slain this time. Krishna presses him fiercely.
Marco, defend yourself.
Now they both attack. See how their swords barely miss each other. Now Marco falls back. He seems to be tiring. Krishna presses him. Oh, this is the end. Marco is lowering his sword.
Now, Marco Polo, I have you at my mercy.
Not so. A miracle. Marco has disarmed Krishna.
You are at my mercy, Krishna. To your knees and beg for your life, you dog.
You are the only man who has ever disarmed me. Who taught you that trick?
It matters not who taught me the trick. You thought that I was defeated, but you were wrong. Now, do you ask for mercy?
I do not ask for mercy.
Then pick up your sword and fight on.
You bid me to pick up my sword? You would give me another chance of life?
Will you take the chance?
I will not. You're a brave and clever man, Marco Polo. You defeated me fairly. You could have taken my life, but you could not play that trick upon me twice. I am content. Let the Khan judge whether the duel is to continue.
The duel will not continue. I am astonished that Marco Polo has displayed so much proficiency. He is bleeding freely from that wound in the arm. Let the physicians attend to him. Marco, my son, you triumph.
A moment, Father. I wish to kneel before Kubla Khan. I ask pardon for any offense which I have committed.
Will you grant pardon to my son, Kubla Khan? The pardon is rightly granted. With my own hands, I raise Marco Polo to his feet. You are my friend, Marco Polo. I did not intend that you should die. I gave Krishna instructions that you were to be spared. But my instructions were not needed. Marco, the great Khan is merciful.
I am grateful, mighty Khan. We have been here many years in your service. You have shown us the wonders of your land. Now we feel it is time for us to depart to our own land. Give us leave to go, I beg of you. Place a ship at our disposal.
I will do that, Marco Polo. I will give you many rich gifts. You shall not leave here poor men. You shall leave with jewels and treasure. Oh, mighty Khan, we thank you.
Mighty Khan, we are grateful, and we ask permission that ships from Venice be allowed to call at the port of Zaitun, bringing goods here in exchange for the goods of your dominion.
That wish is granted.
I have a greater treasure which I wish to take with me, mighty Khan. Come, Benedetta. We are yet to know happiness.
Oh, Marco, I feared for you. Oh, but your arm, it is bleeding. Oh, let me bind it for you.
A mere scratch. The physicians will attend to it in a moment. Look, you great and mighty Kubla Khan. This is the woman of my heart.
So, this is to be your fifth wife, eh? Have I not confessed to you that the other 4 wives were but a figment of my imagination? Oh, Marco Polo, you are a rogue. But you are my friend, and I will give you permission to wed this woman, but I must be present at the wedding.
Then I beg that the wedding be celebrated by a Christian priest, mighty Khan.
There are Christian priests of my own race, and one will be summoned to the palace. Where is King Pentarn?
By your side, mighty Khan.
When will you wed Kinsai?
I hope to wed her tomorrow.
Ah, it is well. There will be a double wedding tomorrow. The wedding of Pentarn and Kinsai, and the wedding of Marco Polo and Benedetta Corsini. The great Khan will be present at the ceremonies, and both couples shall have my blessing. Then will I order that a great ship be laden with riches and jewels, so that my friends, the Venetians, may return to Venice to tell of the wonders which they have beheld.
Oh, mighty Khan, I thank you for your kindness. Marco Polo is the man I love. I've known much suffering and misery, but now I am to know happiness.
Do you hate me, Benedetta Corsini?
I do not hate you, Pentan. I wish you well, and I hope you find happiness with your bride.
I shall find happiness with Kinsai.
Enough. Now the duel is over, and Marco Polo's arm needs attention. Let preparations be made for the weddings. Show me what your people of Zaitun can do in the way of pageantry, Pentar.
Tomorrow there shall be no work in Zaitun. The fountain shall run rich, rare wine instead of water. The populace shall have gifts, and they shall bless the name of Kubla Khan.
It is well. Now let us return to the palace. This afternoon, when it is cooler, the great Khan will show himself to the populace, so that they may cheer his name. Then I must speak with Niccolo Polo regarding future trade between Venice and the Empire of China.
Arrangements were hastily made to celebrate the 2 weddings. The palace became a hive of activity. Frenzied servants rushed hither and thither, decorating the place, preparing for the great Khan. Late that afternoon, the Khan journeyed through the streets of Zaitun with a bodyguard of picked soldiers. The Khan distributed money and presents among the populace, tossing sheaves of paper money to the crowd, who counted themselves